Hi, this is Nancy from Bayer's Pampered Stamper, and I wanted to talk to you today about some dies and matching papers that is in the store right now. It's Dare2bArtzy. There are quite a few pieces. There's a large piece of paper that has borders that go across. This beautiful one that has circles with beehives. I've cut one of those out already for you so you could see it. I used just a circle and cut it out. And actually in the card I made, I'm mounting it on some teal blue so you could see what that looks like. Two-sided, beautiful paper on each one. Of course, the big bees, love those. And small miscellaneous pieces. There is no die to cut this little bee, but everything else can be cut out with the dies that come. And these are the dies that there is. A left and a right bee. So this is what they look like, cut out. These dies cut out beautifully. If you line them up right, of course, but they just look cut beautifully. So there's bees. You can do your honey pot, the little honey, I guess dipper we could call it, some honeycomb. Actually, there are two sizes of honey. There is one that cuts very close to the honey, and then there's the one that has the dripping honey. So there are two kinds there. So there are a lot of fun things to do with this, but I want to show you how easy it is to use these materials. Never use a stamp at all, and just kind of create an idea from that. I'm going to use Tim's side cut, and when I use these dies, I really like to kind of tape them down with some washi tape. That way I get the angle that I want. I get the dimensions correct, because if I don't tape it down, I don't seem to get the right margins with it. So I just cut this little piece of paper from this larger piece because the sidekick is a lot smaller than using your big Sizzix or whatever you happen to have. Plus I have to turn less when I'm just doing little pieces. So I took one whole sheet of paper and actually cut them out, all of the dies out. So I did another honey beehive and another honey jar, pretty easy. The dies come with matching stamps, but you don't even need to use the stamps if you're doing just the dies. This bee one, I cut out a whole sheet of bees. So I had them, and I took one whole sheet of the honey and the honey dipper and the honey jars and whatever, so that I had anything whenever I'm ready to use it. So I have my whole little pile here. But you saw how quite easy it is. I have two cards that I made with it. I used part of the border piece, Sweet as Honey, Be My Honey. I took some of the honeycomb that is a die and one of the bees, and then I put a second bee inside. Not fancy. Well, I think it's really cute, but it didn't take me but maybe 2 seconds to do that. And here's the other one I did. I used the paper and used a circle die, some teal blue, and then this die that works on the paper. Well, I'll show you two pieces. On this paper, the die works. And on this piece, the die works on the smaller one that's inside the floral. It does not work on the bigger one, though. So I went ahead and popped this up on top. Be Happy came from one of the tiny sets of bees that Melissa had in the store. So ombre paper and just, pop up things. Pretty easy, not particularly, but I think it's just a matter of being creative enough to put some pieces together. There's another set too. So I just set those aside for a minute. Dare2bArtzy, these flowers that go with this sheet of paper. I've cut some of this apart already, but you can kind of see. I think the hardest thing about this one is making sure it's lined up. And then you can actually mix and match the bee papers with the floral papers. But I want to take one of these and do a quick die cut for you. The hardest thing for me was try to visualize which way this went. You know, I don't know why that is difficult for me, but when I find it, I'm always very happy. I think, no, I don't have it. Sorry, you have to watch me. Oh, there it is. I am going to washi tape it down, do a quick cut, so that you can see. You can cut the leaves out with this die. You can cut the centers out. Oh, look how pretty that cuts. I was a bit off, but I don't think that really matters. So in this set, you've got two words, spring and Easter. You have different size leaves. You have the centers that you could cut out in the flower. But I did notice this flower die also works with one of the border papers, and this little flower cuts out with this. So you can kind of mix and match and kind of work with that. I made a darker card for this one. I used the cutout flowers that I did, the leaves, a border from the bee paper. This is on the back, so you can't forget the back of papers. And then I did 3 springs and kind of just laid them on top. That's something Bev Mason showed in a demo. So I have these 3 cards, the samples for the bees and the flowers, and I hope you have fun using them. Have a good day.